and we will be reading from another section of The Roar of the Ganges before we go tonight. This is a book written by Swami Tadatmananda, who is the guru of one of our Sangis, our members here, who has gifted it to me and through me to all of you as we read about his journey as Mark through his endeavor to become a Swami, a spiritual renunciant. While I sat on my cot reading, my friend Vijay knocked at the door. He looked pensive, somber. I suspected this was not a casual visit. Even though my guru, Swami Dayananda, had instructed both Achyut and I, who were getting initiated, to observe silence as much as possible before the initiation, I invited my friend Vijay to come in. He sat down sullenly and said, "Mark, I am having a question that is very hard to talk about, but you are being a close friend and are very kind to me also, so I am thinking that I can ask my questions to you." "Of course, Vijay," I said, feeling both curious and concerned. "What is it?" "I am wanting to know how you are handling problem with women. This is a very difficult issue to me." Vijay hesitated, summoning the courage to continue. "Last year, I was falling in love with one girl. You are probably being very surprised by this, but I could not talk about it before." I carefully avoided expressing any surprise. "So, what happened?" "I enjoyed being with her. We were talking and laughing sometimes, but then she was being very embarrassed by my attention. Now she is avoiding me." Vijay's voice trembled. I doubted Vijay would reveal more details, so I asked, "Do you think you might want to leave the spiritual life? Would you like to get married someday?" "No," he said emphatically. "I cannot be doing that. I am wanting sadhu life only. But sometimes I am getting confused by my feelings." "Yes, I understand how you feel. It is a horribly painful conflict when your value for sannyas, renunciation, collides with these powerful desires. It's like the two warring clans of the Mahabharatam fighting an enormous battle inside your mind and heart." "You are also knowing this conflict?" Vijay asked, looking bemused. "Yes, sure I do. I went through it during the course in Pennsylvania. I fell in love with a woman, one of the students there, but our mutual attraction created an incredible conflict for me. I really loved her, but I also had a tremendous value for sannyasa." Vijay's eyes opened wide. "What did you do?" "I went to my guru, Swami Dayananda, for advice. He understood the situation completely and encouraged me to accept my feelings as being natural. When I asked him, what should I do, he simply said, 'What can you do?' I told Vijay that Swami Dayananda recognized my helplessness over such powerful emotions. He would have supported me either way. After the course was over, I could have gotten married or I could have become a sannyasi. Both lifestyles were acceptable in his eyes. Unfortunately, the turmoil I felt only grew more intense. Sometimes I needed her. Sometimes I needed to be free from her. I was not able to commit myself to a relationship, nor was I able to let go. The saddest part is that my ambivalence hurt her deeply. Finally, we both realized that our relationship could never be successful. Afterwards, Swami Dayananda made a very astute observation about me. He noted that I needed a relationship, but I didn't need it enough. He suggested that I find other ways to satisfy my emotional needs, through friendships, through teaching activities, and by being of service to people. I learned a really important lesson from that painful relationship. My emotional needs are normal, but if I try to satisfy them through a romantic relationship, I will only succeed in causing pain and confusion for myself and the person I like. I still feel awful about the pain I caused by my mistake. It taught me a lesson. I said to Vijay, "But you don't have to go through all that. You know what they say, a fool learns from his mistakes, but a wise person learns from the mistakes of others." We both laughed, but then Vijay grew serious again. "I am having one more question," he said. A long pause followed. Then with great effort he asked, "What about sex?" I bit my cheek to keep from smiling. This is an embarrassing, forbidden topic for brahmacharis, students raised in India, where they have few opportunities even to associate with people which they are attracted to, much less for sexual intimacy. I wondered if celibacy might even be more difficult for those like Vijay, for whom sexual experience was totally unknown. Its mysterious fascination might then linger as a relentless source of temptation. I considered myself fortunate to have enjoyed youthful sexual exploration and satisfying adult relationships common for those of my generation. I discovered the joys of sexual intimacy as well as its ordinariness. But for someone who has had none of these experiences, curiosity and unfulfilled desires might fester like unhealed wounds. I reflected on the ancient Vedic convention establishing 4 stages of life. There is much wisdom in a scheme that reserves sannyas, renunciation, for the years following married life. Nevertheless, many seekers want and deserve to be initiated while still young and unmarried. Their struggle may be greater, but generations of healthy, mature sadhus bear witness to the fact that sexual desires can indeed be overcome. I explained all this to my embarrassed friend. I confessed that sex is probably not as wonderful as he might think, and I reminded him that the intensity of his desires would certainly fade in time. But, in spite of my vigorous reassurance, I knew Vijay faced a difficult struggle. If I had been in his situation, I don't know how well I would have faced the challenge of lifelong celibacy. I'm happy to have you here. Is the free PDF available yet? I don't think so. But I've asked Sky Guardian to ask Swamiji, his guru, whenever he gets the chance to.